It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the Force. This is episode 32. Thank you for joining us. I'm David Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Howdy, everybody.
And this is Inside the Force, where we explore a galaxy far, far away, the Star Wars galaxy. We are wrapping up the month of October of 2013, and we are finishing up our Clone Wars edition.
Yep.
Where we have highlighted some characters, notable characters from the Clone Wars television series, if I can remember correctly. First, we kicked it off with Asajj Ventress.
Mm-hmm.
Then we hit on Death Watch.
Right.
Then Plo Koon.
Yes.
And last week we hit on...
Last week, it was another... it was The Ones.
The Ones, correct.
Yeah.
Yes, which was
previously
by far one of the best episodes I think we've had, because that's some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, I could write a paper on that thing.
I know. And we are going to finish up with kind of an easy one, but something that I think struck us both as a very, very interesting episodes of the Clone Wars that involved the Zillo Beast.
Yeah.
And this is a massive creature that,
Yes.
I think back, before this happened, the big creature was the crate dragon, I think, is what everybody kind of came to know. You mentioned the crate dragon in video games you've played.
Yeah.
Of course, the famous skeleton that's lying in the desert of episode 4, that is a crate dragon. Yeah. But this is a long thought to be extinct creature called the Zillo Beast, and we'll get right into him. So it is a creature. If you remember, I think it was. Do you remember what season? I think it was season 3.
Season 2.
Oh, season 2.
Episode 18. It spanned a couple episodes, I think.
I think it was 18 and 19.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 or 3, maybe. I think it only went 2, but it might have went 3. But basically, how this came to be on the Clone Wars basically was there was a battle on Malastare, the planet Malastare. Now, Malastare has been mentioned a few times. I don't think in the original trilogy, but it was mentioned in episode 1.
Right.
Qui-Gon talked about it, how there was pod racing on Malastare. You mentioned there was senators in the Senate.
Yeah.
That concurred with the Trade Federation,
something like that. Yeah,
yeah. They were from Malastare. Those were the Gron, right?
Is Gron, that's what we found out.
It's the creature with 3 eyeballs, sitting there on top,
extend out from their head.
Yes,
yeah.
But their native Malastare's native inhabitants are the Dugs.
Right.
Now, if you remember, a Dug is the creature that Sebulba is from episode 1 that gave Anakin a hard time during the pod race. Those are the native creatures of the planet Malastare, and as well as at a time the Zillo Beasts. They were inhabitants there, big, enormous creatures. They're reptilian type creatures. They're about 97 meters is what their average length is, which you said equals what, about 300 feet?
Like 320.
Yeah, a little over 300 feet, right?
Yeah.
Which is a size of length of a football field, basically. Yeah. That's 300 feet. So this thing is a little longer than that. In retrospect, it's bigger. You said bigger than the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, like quite much, pretty big.
Way bigger, yeah. And then just a little smaller than like the Tantive 4.
Right.
Which is the famous ship that Leia gets captured on. So this thing is huge, and it stands up on 2 feet. It has 2 arms, but technically a third arm.
Yeah.
It's basically like sticking out of his back.
Yeah.
I guess to grab that stuff behind him. I
It's
guess
like scratching on his head. I don't know.
Yeah, and he's got a long tail.
Yeah.
So very lengthy, long-armed, long-legged creature, and it's got basically it's got armor on it.
Yeah.
It's got these plates. It looks almost like a roof almost, where it's just plate after plate after plate.
It's like I don't know if you call it exoskeleton or whatever, but it's like, yeah, it's almost like what are those called? The shingles?
Yeah, like
Almost
shingles.
like shingles,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, but almost armor like.
Yeah.
Very impenetrable. Explosives, blasters, lasers. Can't really
Even lightsabers can't get
even
through this thing,
lightsabers. That's right. But it's interesting to note that while you think of Dugs, those are really small
Yeah.
against these Zillo Beasts, but they survived and they basically technically eradicated to the point where they thought all the Zillo Beasts were gone, and they found weaknesses in these beasts. One was that there were gaps actually between the plates.
Right.
So you can attack that, with they use energy beams or stun tanks to actually render the beast unconscious, and then ultimately probably kill it from there, I guess. But then what's interesting is, I guess it kind of made me think of Superman in a sense. But living on Malastare, the beasts could easily be poisoned by the fuel from Malastare.
Yeah.
The fuel contained like certain toxins that basically killed the beasts. So that's what the Dugs mainly used against them, and to the point where they thought that they wiped out all the beasts.
Right.
I don't think it really gives a year on how long they thought that they've been dead. But it wasn't until the Clone Wars where the Battle of Malastare happened, when the Galactic Republic basically sent a proton bomb down in the planet, that to destroy a lot of the battle droids.
Yeah.
But it caused a bunch of tremors and earthquakes and stuff, and awoken the Zillo Beast that was actually the last Zillo Beast that was underground, came out, and then that's what the episode's about in the Clone Wars, where this thing is just destroying everything, and they want to kill it, but they can't. They realize that they can't.
Yeah.
Palpatine wants to actually capture it, which is crazy, and then it actually describes how it has memory.
Yeah, it's very smart, actually.
It remembers that Palpatine wants to kill it.
Yeah.
So it basically, when they do finally catch it and transport it back to Coruscant.
Yeah.
But then it gets,
Yeah.
it escapes, and starts destroying Coruscant, but then goes after Palpatine.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Kind of the Godzilla, I guess.
Very Godzilla.
Yeah.
Or maybe Jurassic Park 2.
Yeah, exactly. Jurassic Park 2. Yep. So, I don't know what else to really.
That's not much, but reading kind of the extended history of it. This is definitely EU, Old Republic era kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
But it talks about like you said, it doesn't say the date of like how long they were thought to be extinct. It seems like I'm just giving large assumptions, but it talks about the sacking of Coruscant in the Old Republic era, like 3600 some BBY, where Darth Malgus, the guy from the Old Republic that we know from the Old Republic video games.
All right.
Darth Malgus talked about how he saw a statue made out of Zillo Beast bones, and talks about how he only had heard rumors of that animal. So I feel like if he had heard a rumor, if the animals are only rumored to be during that time, then they most likely have been extinct, because at some point these guys are just walking around Malastare.
Yes.
So if they're just but a rumor at 3600 BBY, then it's been a long time.
So that one
has been hanging out
dormant or that for that
guess,
long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Living underneath Malastare.
How is that? I don't know how
know.
that's possible,
Don't
but
know.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Apparently, there was like a prophecy that the Dougs had, where like one would come back and like take them all out or something like that.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It says it awoken the Zillo Beast. So I mean, I don't know if it was somehow. I don't know.
It's just knocked out.
I guess, but I don't know how it wouldn't starve over 3,600 years or something like that.
Don't know. Well,
Anyway,
that's about all we know.
But that is all we know about it. You might not see another one. Apparently that was the last one on the planet. Not it wasn't like they can't really get off planet unless they're taken off planet.
Maybe we'll see an Old Republic or some prequel.
Yeah, that's possible.
Something like that. Who can say?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. But that's but definitely check out those episodes in season 2.
Yeah, season 2, episode 18 and 19.
18 and 19.
Yeah.
I think that at that point in the series, I think that kind of closes out the. I think if I remember looking at the list of the Clone Wars episodes, there's a gap. I think after that, because I think that was
like the chronological timeline you're talking about. Yeah,
it kind of jumps later after that. But the Zillo Beast was was some good episodes in there. Basically it's saying like there's some behind the scenes thing talking about how the Zillo Beast is a homage to the Godzilla film. I mean, if you look at it, it's basically the same thing. It also says it appears. I don't remember. Yeah. I don't think I've gone that far. It also appears in the Lego Star Wars Clone Wars video game, which I haven't gotten that far. I'm still playing that actually. I haven't played. I was actually thinking about that the other day. Like, hey, I haven't played that in a while. I need to.
Yeah. Zillo Beast.
The Zillo Beast. Okay, so very short, quick profile, but there is some big news we kind of wanted to discuss that's come out in the past week. So, Case, what we got?
The biggest thing, the first big thing that happened this past week was Lucasfilm kind of released and announced their entire production team, pretty much, or the department heads, I guess you can say, of episode 7. And with that, they announced that Michael Arndt, the writer of episode 7, apparently has, I don't know, it doesn't say that he necessarily left or just whatever, but he's basically not the writer anymore. And now J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan are the sole writers of Star Wars episode 7, which confuses me very much, because my buddies first text me about it, and they were saying, "Oh, look at this! It's pretty cool. I feel like I'm glad Kasdan's writing it." And I was excited too. But I was more focused on like, why was Michael Arndt? Why is he not writing it anymore? Is this just a case where the screenwriter's done his job, now it's the director's job to kind of take over? Or was he actually let go, or did he just leave because of some other reason? And then now Abrams has to take over, and so is Kasdan, because Kasdan was already working on it as a consultant with Simon Kinberg.
Yeah, not writing it as a consultant,
but now he is co-writing it with J.J. Abrams. So, what are the implications of this?
Well, in my opinion, I think what's happening is, this actually happens a lot in studio production. Yeah. A writer will write a movie, and even if the studio hasn't authorized it, the studio's looking through scripts all the time, and the writer may have something, and they be like, "Yeah, we want to do this, but we want to rewrite it a little bit, and we don't want you to rewrite it." So and usually that's when the writer will get a executive producer credit or a co-producer credit. Yeah. But then they'll rewrite it with elements, but they'll buy the rights to it, and then they'll be able to change it, and obviously those new writers will get the credits. So I think what's happening here is it's hard to imagine, but remember, it's been a year when Michael Arndt got the job. Yeah. It was last October. So when he got announced to write it, I'm sure at that point, obviously there was no J.J. Abrams yet. Yeah. Kasdan was announced to be a consultant already. The sale had gone
Yeah.
through or whatever. So Michael probably wrote based on notes, because the one thing we haven't heard is we never heard of Michael Arndt meeting with George Lucas.
That's true.
So I think he wrote. They said, here's some notes.
Yeah.
Write a movie. And I think he wrote something. But see, at that time, Kathleen Kennedy was all over JJ trying to get him. She's even mentioned how it took some convincing to get him in and get him in. Well, and they've released those photos where he's sitting there talking to George, and which is incredible. But I think what happened was once he signed on, I mean, he even mentions how he meets with him all the time. Mm-hmm. He meets with George all the time. And so I think that JJ, with Lucas explaining, what because that's another thing we found out, was George was actually going to make 79 by himself. So I think he had this whole outline already. Mm-hmm. He was already starting to write 7. So I think he passed this on to JJ, and then JJ obviously came up with his own additions to the story. And then ultimately, I think they sat down with Kathleen and basically said, look, Michael went one way, and now we're thinking of another way. And, it's just one of the things where you kind of push him aside and say, thanks, but, we're going to take it over from here. And there's probably elements that they'll keep from it, but, there's a lot that probably Michael never knew that, because of the JJ and George meetings. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Lawrence was in there just to, I guess, maybe he had some ideas too. And, I don't know. I think to me, that's what happened. I think JJ is so immersed in it now. Yeah. And he's probably came up with some great ideas. And George is like, that's good, Jay.
Do it.
I think you should be writing this. Kathleen, you want my consulting expertise? Yeah. He needs to write episode 7. So it's unfortunate for Michael. I don't know.
I'm sure he got his paycheck still.
He definitely got paid.
I mean, like some people would say, like, they may not have known his history of Star Wars if he could have written a good Star Wars movie, because he did Little Miss Sunshine, Toy Story 3,
right,
some other stuff. But I know that I've read right when he got hired on, I was researching him more than what I've already known about him. How he's actually a huge Star Wars fan himself, and like he would give lectures about the story structure of Star Wars. Like he's like a huge fan. Like he studied it himself just on his own. And honestly, if you watch Toy Story 3, there's a lot of Star Wars homages in it. So I had faith that he would have done a good job. But yeah, like you said, it might have gone away with what George wanted to do. And I guess, I'm sure, because I was reading an article the other day about how episode 5 went through the exact same thing. Yeah. And look how that turned out. So who knows? Maybe we'll get,
I just think that it would have been a lot more confusing to me if we had heard that Michael had been meeting with George. Yeah. Every time. Yeah. But we never heard anything like that.
He was off in London or something like that.
Yeah. We just heard he was writing episode 3, and that was it. Man. So, but JJ is sitting here in L.A. with George, and going over. I think I was reading that. He's meeting with him on a daily basis. Like,
sounds like it.
Yeah, JJ is like all up in his ear, trying to figure out, what story are we telling here? That's why I have so much confidence right now in what they're doing, because it seems like they're just so immersed in it, and not just JJ in his own world, but with George, with Kathleen, plus you got Lawrence Kasdan, it's just I can't wait to see this. But do you think that's what happened?
Probably. And something like that, I'm sure. Yeah. I don't think, because my first thought was like, oh my gosh, he's like, he wrote something really bad or whatever, and they're like trashing it, and now it's like all in the dump. Star Wars is like going to be delayed. But no, I feel like it's still in good hands. I feel like we're, because we talked about before its release date, how it's going to be hard to get it in May, which is what usually Star Wars does, or even a June or July. So the rumor still is, maybe November-ish, fall-ish release date. And
I wish they would push like Ant-Man down the line and make this like a summer movie.
That would be awesome.
But I mean, that's the thing too, is it actually could be possible that Michael wrote. If he is a Star Wars fan, he might have wrote a lot of EU stuff in there.
Possibly.
And maybe they were like, we want to kind of make this an original thing,
Well, that's something I wanted to bring up because before all this was announced, all the rumors that we've been getting for the story-wise have been kind of coinciding with EU things, like solo twins, female lead, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Are all those rumors based off Michael Arndt's script? If they are real, those rumors, if they're true, were they based off his script? Now, are all those rumors thrown down in the garbage?
It's possible.
So now we're, something totally different.
It's possible.
Like the Obi-Wan Kenobi rumor as him coming back as a Force Ghost, Palpatine Force Ghost.
And if you think about it, if it is based more on the solo twins, there's probably less room or less time for a Han Solo, a Princess Leia, a Luke Skywalker, which may coincide with why we never heard anything ironclad with if they're coming back or not until apparently right now.
Yeah.
Which, see that segue I did?
Yeah, segue into a new rumor.
So the other rumor is
basically
I mean, it's a rumor, but it's saying that it's a confirmed rumor.
Yeah,
but
it seems pretty much. I mean, it's not a huge surprise. Honestly,
it's not.
Harrison Ford. The rumor is Harrison Ford has signed on for Episode 7, but here's kind of the somewhat of a surprise: Episode 7 and additional Star Wars films. After,
it's a multi-film
deal. But Harrison Ford did this, with some stipulations where he wanted to see a synopsis of Han Solo develop over more than just Episode 7. And also he wanted Lucasfilm to kind of greenlight Indiana Jones 5. So he said, you do an Indiana Jones 5, you give Han Solo a better story arc, then I'll do it.
Now, he's close to 70, right? Or he is 70.
I think he might be 70.
Yeah, I think he's 70.
1 year shy.
So, now he's in great shape, though, so
Absolutely.
I don't think he has nothing to really worry about. But I definitely, see, and that's what kind of starting to lead me to believe that, they, once they started releasing what Michael had, maybe, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher were like, where do we fall into this? If we're just appearances, it's maybe not be enough for us.
Yeah.
I think they really, because they're huge. They know, we've been to Celebration.
Yeah.
Now, Harrison hasn't been there.
Yeah.
But Carrie and Hamill have. And they know, they want to be a part of that stuff, but they want significance. I remember when we were there with Mark Hamill doing that interview. I mean, he was like, you remember what's his name? James Arnold Taylor asked him, would you be if they did more? He's like, oh my God, yeah.
All of them were saying.
Yeah, I mean, but they want to be, they want their characters to be involved. You know what I mean? It's not just, oh hey, I'm passing by. There's Luke Skywalker.
If you turn left, you'll see Luke Skywalker at his house.
But I really think that they want to be majorly a part of this again, and I think Harrison was down that road too, and I think that. I think that once maybe Michael didn't have them. Maybe they weren't as.
It was like a wink more than like an actual
exactly.
conclusion.
Part of just kind of the secondary characters where I think honestly it may be a point now that these guys may be more of the leads.
That's how I've always kind of wanted it to be. Not necessarily leads, but a significant part of the plot, like you said.
Well, I think Luke has to be now.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening. I think they saw that, and then JJ and George possibly had different renditions of it, and they're the ones that kind of got it together and maybe presented it to Harrison, and finally, and he apparently has signed on. Now, this hasn't been completely confirmed from Star Wars, or Lucasfilm, but it is reported that he has signed on for multi-year deals. And as you said, in Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah.
Which
I'm surprised that he's been more in league with more Indiana Jones movies than doing more like Han Solo and Star Wars movies. Very interesting. I mean, I'm also a huge fan of Indiana Jones, so I'm excited for that piece of news too. that hopefully we'll get
I'm
more.
wondering though, are we going to? So, yeah, because I think they laid it out right that we're going to probably get, instead of getting these episodes every 3 years, we're going to get them every other year.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Okay, so
2015, 2017,
Yeah.
2019.
so it's not as long of a commitment
Yeah.
as it was for the prequels.
Yeah.
The prequels was basically a
Almost.
6-year
Yeah.
commitment versus a 3-year. Yeah, I mean shooting.
Yeah. Well, starting with the first one, 36.
Well, yeah.
Well, 369.
3-6. Yeah,
About 8 or 9 years, maybe.
for shooting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean 7-8 years. Yeah. Now you're probably only talking like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
5 tops probably to get this done. So yeah, that would feel good.
Yeah.
That would be good for him.
I mean, the way they do shoot movies now, I don't see why they don't do like The Hobbit and just shoot everything now, release it every year.
Well, yeah, I mean there is risk in that,
yeah.
but not with Star Wars. I don't think there's risk.
No.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they could do 7, 8, 9 right in a row, depending on if they had it written.
True.
Something like Lord of the Rings, it's already
Oh,
there.
yeah.
The story's already there.
We'll do chapter 10 today.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and it doesn't seem like they're probably gonna have all 3 scripts done. So
Right.
they'll probably shoot, episode 7, but see, I immediately, I mean, I don't see. I'll be surprised if JJ directs a movie
And
other than Star Wars
so you think
these
he'll
next
do
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, he'll do the next 3 Star Wars movies.
I hope he does.
Oh, yeah, me
Now, I'm
too.
not
I
100
hope he
percent
does,
sure,
too.
but
Yeah. So just to kind of, I guess, go finish out that story, talking about, actually kind of jumping back a little bit, talking back about Lucasfilm releasing the whole department heads
all right,
for episode
right,
7.
right.
I want to just kind of go back to that and mention the other guys in the departments, because there's some big heavy hitters that will be working on episode 7. Just to start off, Ben Burtt, all the Star Wars fans should know who Ben Burtt is. Basically, the sound designer on the original Star Wars movies. All the Star Wars movies, actually. Even the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. He was the one who basically invented the lightsaber sound, the blaster sound, Chewbacca, his sound, all that stuff.
A lot of the sounds, yeah.
So he will be working on episode 7 and probably every Star Wars film that will ever be made. Let's go through here. The director of photography is the same guy who did Mission Impossible 3 in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. So as we know, it's going to probably look the same as all of Abrams movies. Production designers from
He wasn't on Super 8?
Doesn't say him. I know that he had his the other guy, the Asian guy, because I think he switched.
Oh, okay.
I think the guy in Super 8 was like his buddy.
Yeah.
And then he went, whatever. But the production designer from Lincoln, Avatar, Forrest Gump, Oblivion, Tron Legacy will be working on this. The costume designer from the Star Trek movies, Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, and Fight Club. Special effects supervisor from Skyfall, Dark Knight Rises, Inception. So special effects is going to be amazing. A special effects supervisor, so not necessarily making it, but other audio guys from from Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, Toy Story, other huge movies. Let's see, ILM, of course, will be working on it. Skywalker Sound. Visual effects supervisor from Star Trek and Pirates of the Caribbean, Episode 3, Star Wars Episode 3. And then you have, the producers, Kathleen Kennedy, Abrams, and Brian Burke. And also executive producers, two guys who will be serving as executive producers. Their past films were Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, Star Trek, War of the Worlds. So big movies. So basically, a lot of the biggest movies that have come out in the last 10, 20 years, the guys they're working on this movie, Star Wars Episode 7.
And of course, John Williams.
John Williams will be scoring Episode 7.
Episode 7.
And now we have Lawrence Kasdan writing it. And he, of course, did Episode 5 and Indiana Jones. So we have some great workers on this film, some great hands to take care of Star Wars.
Now, you did say ILM? Are they
ILM,
working on it?
Yes.
They are working
absolutely.
on it. Okay.
Of course, ILM, Skywalker Sound, all those guys. They will be working
Yeah, because
on
I'm
it.
sure ILM did a lot of... Did they do Star Trek effects?
I'm sure.
They probably did.
Most likely, yeah. Yeah, so some good hands.
Traitors. No.
They do everything. So.
Yeah. Another key thing too, I wanted to mention that I feel bad. I just haven't had time to watch them, but they've been releasing a lot of old bonus material.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Like not found footage, but like old, takes and outtakes and
stuff like that.
Interviews. And StarWars.com is actually doing a lot of that. Every once in a while, I've noticed they've released like another video or the soundbite from Lucas, on set or something like that. But I think the rumor I read is that they're doing this now, but then they're going to be collecting it all and releasing it all eventually. So I don't know.
See, I feel like I've seen some of that stuff anyways on the Blu-rays.
Yeah, a lot of it probably has come on there, but some of it hasn't been seen before.
Yeah. Well, like that thing I mentioned last week, the ebook version of the making of Star Wars, they include some other kind of footage like that, like unseen behind the scenes kind of footage. Really cool. I just wish I could see all of that, just all the raw footage. I just want to see it, everything.
Yeah, that'd be
before, after they actually shot the scene. I can't get enough of that kind of stuff. Pretty cool.
So that's all the big news in a way.
Yeah.
So we'll just close this out by doing some trivia.
I just can't wait till we actually get some real solid news.
Oh, man.
Like, I feel like we'll have to dedicate an entire episode
to
talking about like the plot of the movie or something like that.
Yeah, next year is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Doing this. Next year is going to be fun doing this, leading up to the show, to the movie and all that stuff, and especially leading up to Celebration.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so here we go. 1559 is the question this week.
I feel good about this one.
Yeah, I think you're on a losing streak, right? Well, one, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. 1559. This looks like it's going to be in the A New Hope era of Star Wars. This is Obsessed with Star Wars. 1559. Here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Oh, this is strange that we were talking about length.
Okay.
How long are Y-wing fighters?
Y-wing fighters. Okay.
How long are Y-wing fighters? 10 meters, 14 meters, 15 meters, or 16 meters?
10, okay, sorry. 10, 14.
10, 14, 19, or 16.
10, 14, 19, 16. Gosh, they're like so close together.
I know. It's not like they're like 10, 20, 30, 40.
Yeah. 10, 14, 19, 16.
10, 14, 15, 16. So...
Wait, 10, 14, what? I'm sorry?
15, 16.
15, okay, so this is 19. 10, 14, 15, 16.
Yep.
Now,
so you gotta remember, you gotta know what a Y-wing is for one. So if you know what the Y-wing is, which I'm pretty sure I do, then it's how long are they? So,
how long they are?
So, wow, and we were just talking about how long a Zillo Beast is in relation to like the Millennium Falcon. I don't know.
I've got my two guesses. Narrowed it down to two.
So, wow, that's okay. So,
okay, I'm gonna say 14 meters.
14.
Yeah.
I thought 15 looked good.
It's like Price is Right. 14, no, 15.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we said that Zillo Beast was 97, which is equal to about a football field.
Yeah.
So,
like I know roughly what
that was like 100
is to a feet.
That was I'm just saying that was 100 meters. So, a Y-wing. Y-wings are actually not that big,
right?
As compared to like it's a fighter, so it's not. They're not big ships. X-wings, Y-wings, A-wings. They're not really big. So, but they're long,
right?
So, I don't know if like horizontally are they the same size as an X-wing? I think they're about the same size as an X-wing.
I'm thinking they're all about the same, except for like you can get to like A-wings that are I think smaller.
Yeah, A-wings are definitely a little smaller,
but all those the fighters and the bombers and all that stuff.
Because we didn't really see a Y-wing, I think, until Return of the Jedi. I don't think it was in
I can't remember.
I don't think it was in the Death Star battle of the first one. So
no, I don't think so.
So they flew around in there. I wouldn't say. Actually, I think I'm gonna say 16.
Okay,
I'm gonna say 16. You're saying 14?
Yeah.
14 is B. 16. I'm gonna go 16D. Ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
Holy
ding, ding,
crap!
ding, 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 ding.
Dang it. 16
Yes,
years.
16. I changed my mind. I talked myself into it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's got to be maybe the
16 years.
longest.
52 feet? Dang. Yeah, I wasn't thinking it was that big. I was thinking it was more closer to like an X-Wing. So
I think the horizontal is. I'm
thinking from front to back.
No, they're talking about
long.
A Y-wing is the one with that's really long.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying, how long it is. So they're not measuring this way. I think they're talking about how long this way. So, you know what I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
All right, so that puts me at 18 and 14. Casey's at 16 and 16.
Man, okay.
So, trivia. All right, so that's our show for episode 32. Check us out at InsideTheForce.com if you're not already there already, where you can listen to all our shows. Go to 21network.com. You can get all our podcasts. We got 7 podcasts on there. Check those out. KooCast, our show Inside the Force, the El Mary podcast, 21 podcast, Popular Fanatics, In the Comics, and Star Wars TCG, where me and Casey talk about Star Wars the card game. And hopefully we'll be talking about that a little bit on this show too when they come out with this new Balance of the Force expansion here. It should be out actually I think they pushed it back to December, so we'll talk about it over the holidays. All right, so check us out on Twitter at Inside the Force. I am at DCottingham21. Casey's at Kryptonian1138. Check us out there. Hit us up there. For Casey Cooley.
The most dangerous beast is the beast within.
Ooh.
There you go. Metal and mole on let it simmer.
Who the hell says that?
Back. That's from the second episode of the Zillo Beast. Yeah.
Wow. I gotta go back and watch all that stuff. and then real quick before we sign off, we've got the next few months planned.
Yeah.
I think what we're gonna do is we kind of dedicated this month to the Clone Wars. We're gonna continue the trend. We're gonna devote the next month to episode 1, and then episode 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to do characters next month. So the month of November is episode 1 month. We're going to be talking about some characters from there. So if you want, send us your suggestions. Tweet us your who you like to get profiled, because we have no idea. We're just doing this on a whim, Yeah. We decide. Usually,
it's all good.
Usually that day we'll text each other like, "Hey, we done? Yeah, okay. Well, let's do some research."
Cool.
All right, so next week we're going to talk about somebody from episode 1. So check us out then. Casey Cooley.
Goodbye, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
That's right. Happy Halloween. This Halloween week. Have a good one, everybody. May the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network, a collection of weekly podcasts. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.